Hey, what's happening? What's going on, everybody? My name is Matthew. In case you don't know who I am, welcome to this YouTube channel where we talk about day trading, futures, and crypto, and I hope you enjoy it. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the most important questions when it comes to day trading, especially when it comes to trading the trend, but it also applies to mean reversion strategies. So, what we're going to be asking today in today's big question is, does the market know which way it wants to go? Seems like an obvious question to ask, but believe it or not, a lot of people don't ask it, and more importantly, a lot of people don't know how to answer it. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about one way that I answer this question that is pretty simple, pretty easy, and hopefully you can use to help you. So, we're looking at the Nasdaq futures, which is NQ, Nasdaq E-mini, on a 5-minute chart. So each candle on here is 5 minutes. You can see the start of market open. I am in Central Time, which is why it says 8:30 instead of 9:30, but you can see with the increase in volume that the market is open right here, right? So 9:30 candle, 8:30 Central Time, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. What we're going to do first is talk about market direction. So within the first 5 minutes, so the very first candle, you don't really know which way the market's going to be going. Um, for the sake of this example, and in case you want to do any research after this, we're going to go and call this opening range. So the opening range is, in this instance, since we're using 5-minute candles, the opening range is the time it takes from the market open through the first close of the first 5-minute candle is our opening range. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to open up our line tool, and we're going to place a line at the top. So at the open and the close of opening range. What that is going to allow us to do is kind of figure out if price is in between opening range or if it's below or above the opening range. This is how we're going to figure out if the market knows which way it wants to go. So to keep it very simple, if the price closes below opening range and opens going, so if the candle closes below opening range and the next candle opens going lower, we're most likely going lower, and vice versa. If we close above opening range, the next candle moves up right away, we're most likely going higher, right? So that's very simple. There are a lot of instances where on a choppy day, you might see that the price never breaks out of opening range. Maybe we have a 30 or 40 point opening range and price just kind of hits the top of opening range and back down to the bottom and top and bottom and top and bottom. And that's when I was talking about the mean reversion strategy. If you are a scalper, maybe that is a time when your strategy really works well. If you're a trend trader, maybe you like the first two options of waiting for the price to close out of opening range, right? So let's go ahead and dive into how we would actually play opening range strategies and when we would sit out. So right away, we never trade the first 5 minutes if you're using an opening range strategy because the opening range hasn't formed yet. So here our first 5 minutes formed, right? We go ahead and place our lines at the top and bottom of the open and the close of the candle, right? So it's basically the body of the candle. And then right away we see that we are going lower. The first 5 minutes is another tricky section because you'll get a lot of rebound typically. But one thing I do want you to notice right here is all of this wicking action right here, right? So this is just showing that there are a lot of sellers within opening range pushing the price lower. So now we break out of opening range. You get a nice little 20-point move probably, yeah, 20 points. We get back into opening range. We go down, we test it. And typically I like to either long the retest or short the retest, right? So if we broke out here and we came back and touched opening range, I would probably enter a long because you can have better stop losses when you're doing this strategy, right? So I can have very methodical, I guess is the right word, but just more cut and dry stop losses using my strategy. If I'm longing here, I can have to find stop losses as opposed to like longing up here and having to put a stop an extra 10 points down or something, you know? Same with this type of short. You can short the opening range. You can have a much better stop loss, maybe at the top of opening range. If you wanted to long, or if you wanted to short the top of opening range, you could put a stop above the day's high, right? So that's a 6-point stop as opposed to like a, I don't know, 20, 30-point stop. So since we didn't retest anything here, I probably wouldn't have taken a position, right? Especially when we start selling, we get that topping candle, we start selling off. I'm not taking a long there unless I see a true bottom. We break through, we come back up and retest. So probably would have taken a short here, probably would have gotten stopped out in the middle, taken another short, and wouldn't have gotten stopped out. And that's when you start seeing the big moves, right? So here we are 72.40 down to 71.80. So that's 60 points to the downside. And how did we know that this was going to happen? Well, we broke opening range to the downside, came back up, tested, and then exploded down. Here we go again, right? So we get a nice little rebound. We go up, we test opening range. We fail to break through the top of opening range, right? We fail to close above opening range here, and we see another sell-off for another, however many points that is, 50 points, right? Nice little rebound again. Again, we fail opening range, sell-off. So that's how we use opening range with the people that I'm trading with. It just makes the most sense, right? So again, also you can see like this downtrend line, uptrend line. There's lots of different ways you can play all this, but the big idea is that if it's on the downside of opening range, if we break through the downside, we're most likely going to be continuing down. If we break through the upside, we're going to continue up for a little bit, right? So we break through the upside, we go up a little bit. Break through the downside, and we go down. Let's go ahead and fast forward to today. So again, here's our 8:30 candle. We're going to go ahead and put our line and our line. You can see that we closed below, did have kind of an upper wick, then we have a bottoming candle here, so we should anticipate a test back to opening range. We have not yet broken through opening range, right? So we're still playing with it. We got another 2 minutes on this candle to see if we close above, but if we close above, which is looking like it might do right now, one strategy is to buy the retest at 71.66 and wait for it to move back up. So that is the opening range strategy to help you figure out if the market knows its own direction. Again, if we're trading in here, this is a no trade zone. If you're trend trading the opening range, anything within the opening range candle is a no trade zone. You don't want to take any trades in here unless it's on the upper or the lower bounds and you're wanting to long or short, right? So long from the lower bounds, short from the upper bounds. Nothing in the middle is worth trading if you're trading the opening range. That again, the big idea, just to help you figure out a clear direction. This is one tool for your arsenal. You don't want to solely rely on this. You never want to solely rely on anything. You want to have multiple confirmations before you enter a trade, right? So you want to be figuring out if, say, you're using a 200 moving day average or even just like candle price action, right? If you see a bottoming candle, you don't want to enter a short if you're below opening range and you see a bottoming candle, right? So you want to have these multiple forms of confirmation. I'll let you figure those out on your own or find them in my other videos. But this is one tool for the arsenal. I hope this is helpful for you if it was, and this is a new idea or just a refresher on an idea that you've forgotten about. Please go ahead and like this video, subscribe down below. I appreciate all of those things. So does YouTube with helping get the word out there more about this page. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. I will talk to you later. Peace.